Well, luckily I had time to get my bike fixed today. It's in the bike ambulance now.
Don't worry, buddy. We got you all fixed. It's the bike hospital.
Hey, so I plan on getting housework done today and that kind of stuff, but I haven't yet. I might later, but I went to lunch and delivered the commission I needed to and got a free bagel and had a nice chat, and that was fine. And then on the way home I picked up some cat food and things like that, and the cats are fighting behind me. And then I came home and was gonna just draw for the sake of drawing, just for the fun of it, and not really think about what it's for. And I started to do that, but then I kind of went back to this sketch I did a while ago. I think it was during one of my other projects or something, and I had sketched this and was gonna make a print of it, maybe kinda, and I worked on it some more, and it's looking like I might make a print of it. I might even make a series, and I'm kind of thinking this is a day off, so I'm like doing art that isn't what I should be doing because it's my day off, because it's the weekend. I don't know, whatever. But this brings up another point. I had been asked by Creed Stonegate. This was back when I asked for some questions and answers. Give me the answers to what's the question and the answer. Then I'll just tell you. No, I asked this a while back specifically, but of course I'm always open to any questions you may have. Leave them in the comments below, and if I can, I will answer them, and if I can't, I will not answer them, but maybe talk about them. But Creed Stonegate had asked, or said, I'm gonna read it. You're an artist that's into toys, which is true. Have you done any pieces, still lifes of any toys? Were those Madball pieces that I did long ago from direct reference? He's referring to a specific art piece, which I did make a print of 3 Madballs, which is an 80s, then again a 90s, and then again a 2000s toy, which is like an ugly monster ball. I'll throw that up right here. That image was not at all, I just realized that music's going on, whatever. That image was not at all referencing toys I own, but I did look at pictures of the toys online. And most of the time I just look at pictures online, especially if I'm doing something like from a live action TV show or an anime. I may look at images of the toy because sometimes there's better turnaround or better focus. And on occasion, I do use my own toys as reference. And the reason I bring this up today is the thing I'm working on, bringing it right back around, is an Aka Ranger image. Now, Aka Ranger is the first Red Ranger from Go Ranger, the Super Sentai, which later becomes Power Rangers, but there were several seasons, like 16 or something, that never came to America previous to Power Rangers, what we know as Mighty Morphin. This was the very first Red Ranger in any Sentai ever. And I'm doing him, and I did look at pictures online which were stills of toys, which were stills from the show, things like that, but for some of the small details, I'm looking at my figure. This is the SH Figure Arts from Bandai of Japan collectible figure of Aka Ranger. Now I have in a specific pose, which is not the same as the pose I'm having him in here, but certain things like how many rivets are on his belt, and what colors are here, and what is that insignia, things like that, sometimes the figure is best used for. And so that's what I'm doing. Also, if there's like a certain angle or whatever. And so I'll show you what I'm working on. I have them in a kicking position because their finisher is to kick this sort of powerful soccer ball. And what I was looking at, there's the insignia on his boot, which I'll need to look at, but then the bottom of his shoes are actually black as opposed to white. And I was looking to see if it had a tread. Let me move it over here. And it doesn't really seem to have a tread. It has just sort of an indent with like a kind of a boot heel, which I sort of have. So I won't give it a tread, but I will make sure it's black. And then you can see a lot of the detail in here is because I looked on here. This part was originally wrong, and then I looked on here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna follow this. Now, arguably this might not be 100% accurate, but it's pretty good, and it's a very consistent reference if nothing else. When I did my Green Ranger Dragonzord print, I also referenced, I have a Legacy Edition Dragonzord figure, which I did reference quite a bit, but again, in conjunction with other source material. Usually the toys are more for the intricate details, less than the poses and things like that, because I like to draw from the show or the comic or whatever and try to get a feel for the characters acting, and then when I need the specific detail, then I'll sometimes look at my toys. Now that's not still life, but I have actually done still lifes, and I was looking for these the other day and I couldn't find them. If I can find them today, I'll throw them up, but they may be lost to time, or they might be at my mom's house or something. When I was going to school, pre-Joe Kubert, pre-School of Visual Arts, I went to like 5 different schools. I was going to community college in New Jersey at Brookdale, and I took a watercolor class. That was the main painting class I ever took. I'm not much of a painter, it just never appealed to me, but I did like watercolor the most of the bit of painting I did do. And most of the paintings I did in that class were still lifes of toys. The ones I specifically remember is I had a Scorponok figure, well I still have a Generation 1 Transformer Scorponok figure, and I had painted sort of like from here down and just make it look like a gigantic thing that had the 2 small Transformers in the front, and that was a color painting. That's the one I was pretty sure I still had, but I can't find. Another one that I thought I still had and can't find was He-Man, again from the 80s. Most of these toys are going to be from the 80s. The original He-Man in the slime pit, which is sort of like a dungeon with a clamp. And it's funny, I later did a print of He-Man in the slime pit, and I don't think I used the toys for reference. I actually don't have those toys anymore. At the time I did, and it was He-Man and Skeletor, and that was like a monochromatic. I did it all like a green-brown, and both of those were straight up still lives of them, you know. And I did a few others too that I'm blanking on right now, but those were, so in the past I have done still lives. Now I use them more for reference that isn't direct. I have thought about doing something where, like, you know, because I like to do toy reviews and like my toy shots, but that takes a lot of time away from my art and this sort of stuff, which I feel is really more the focus of what I do. I have thought of trying to do some sort of series like, oh, I bought a new Transformer, here's a picture of him, or I bought a new, you know, Power Ranger, here's a picture of him, I bought a new Star Wars figure, here's a picture of, like, an illustration, I should say. And I mean, I don't know that I'll ever do that. I might, but it's like a challenge, and it's a project that's cool, but as I talked about recently, I don't want to get too sidetracked, and that's a lot of time, and it's exciting when I think about it. I'm like, that sounds awesome, but I need to be working on my comic and other things that are more important right now, at least. That doesn't mean I'll never do it. That doesn't mean I might not do one here or there, but that whole idea of the you know, series is probably not going to happen anytime soon. And if I did do it, I'm not sure if I would do a still life or more my interpretation. Ideally, what I would like to do is draw the figure as it is, and then do like a cool interpretation, like more of a comic book sort of action pose sort of thing. But again, now we're getting into, oh, here's a video where I review a toy and draw 2 different versions of it. Like that's a lot of work, and I don't mind doing it, but it's a time factor and it's an energy factor that I'm better off contributing that to my main projects, specifically the Horror A4. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna get back to this project, which I shouldn't be working on, but I could at least maybe turn it into a print. All right, talk to you later. Well, it's later in the evening, about 11:15. Dinner has been had, things have been done, and I keep working on this stupid thing that isn't anything. It's gonna be a print now, at the very least, but I have a print of this character, not as good as the one I'm currently working on, that does not sell well, so it makes no sense to make another one, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'll show you where I'm at. Basically I have all the inks done and all the coloring done. I'm doing a flat coloring style, more of an animation style, where I'm just putting a highlight and a shadow on the colors, and it's not cell shading, with the exception of the white where it's black. I actually used a darker and a lighter red, and I need to just put in a swoosh and a kick and then an explosion in the background, and it's pretty much done. A little bit more shading on the glasses there, and yeah, that's Aka Ranger. I still need to do my 30 minutes. I've been working on this for hours throughout the course of the day, and have not worked on my 30 minutes. But this is actually getting boiling hot to the touch, and I also could use a break. So I think I'm gonna go eat some cereal and watch TV, and then come back to this later. It's Booberry! Yeah, buddy, thumbs up! I've had Frankenberry, I've had that Captain Crunch Ghost Gross. Booberry's the main one I haven't had. Count Chocula doesn't count because chocolate's gross. But there's been no Fruity Yummy Mummy or Fruit Brute this year. I wonder if they're not bringing them back. I hope they do. If not, it's just Booberry and Frankenberry this year. I'll have to make do somehow. The lighting is nuts! I don't care about lighting. Booberry! So time has passed, cereal has been eaten, television has been watched, and 30 minutes have been spent. 30 minutes on the Horror A4, issue 2, page 12, last panel, did not quite finish it. What I've been doing is doing my half hour and then finishing whatever panel I'm on. Today I'm not going to do that because I want to go back to that other drawing of Aka Ranger, but I will show you what I've done. As you can see, this is the panel I did yesterday. This is the second to last panel. A lot of it was figuring out the perspective. Not so much, you know, the vanishing points here and here, but how tall she would be in relation to him. And, you know, the door's open, but there's the top of the frame. Honestly, she's probably a little taller than she should be, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And then I wanted him to be inside the house, but still be in correct proportion to her because he's taller. But, you know, I used the old where the line falls in their body on the horizon line trick, and so when he was the correct size next to her, it fell right around his waistline, so then I shrunk him down, and then you put the waistline on the line, and it's kind of a way to cheat the perspective to make it somewhat correct. And a lot of this is going to be covered up with word balloons, so I probably won't do much more back here. I'll probably just gray that out or put something, you know, light detail. Mainly, I just got to draw him, so it's mostly done. But like I said, this will have to wait till tomorrow, because I'm going back to Aka Ranger. And yet later still, I'm ingesting Fresco, which is caffeine-free, though mighty refreshing. Anyway, I am done, in air quotes, with the Aka Ranger, Go Ranger image slash possible print. I might revisit it tomorrow. The main thing is that the background details and the accoutrement and the special effects, I'm not sure if this is the exact combination I want to use. Right now it looks good. I'll look at it again tomorrow before finalized, but for now I am done, and maybe done forever. You see, this is Aka Ranger, again, done possibly, kicking the end of the Go Ranger Storm. Their finishing move in this series is basically kicking a soccer ball that gets powered up between each Ranger, and it ends with Aka, the leader, kicking it, and then it lands and explodes the monster of the week. So this is sort of him initiating a finishing move with an explosion behind him, which normally wouldn't happen, but just for extra flair. And that's one of the things that, I may or may not keep. But, job done for today. And so with Aka Ranger ends the day. The day being 81 of 100 Days of Making Comics. And if today is day 81, well then, my friends and enemies and neutral parties that happened into this situation through no fault of their own. That means... Uzi, how many days do we have left? I feel you're trying to tell me with your mind that it's 19 days. Am I right? Yes. All right, your job is done. Thank you. So, I planned on doing a lot of housework today, a lot of cleaning and things like that, but instead I met up with the guy that I owed the commission to live, oh my god, cats. Only to do my 30 minutes, and I've been working on this for hours.